The absolute love of my life is positive psychology. And I think probably the best way to describe that is where tradition meets tomorrow, because traditional psychology has its merits. It's got such a history of depth and theory. But positive psychology, which was developed by the head of the American Psychological Association, Martin Seligman, looks at what's strong. So it is such a lovely mind shift to not deal with deficits, but to look at positives and how you build people or how you use the positives to buffer them against what's difficult in their lives, how you help them flourish under fire. What was wonderful for Lynette and myself is we both had that same philosophy. We were both really interested in developing staff in a way that was positive, of giving them something intrinsic to hold on to, character strengths, developing resilience. We wanted to run workshops that would give teachers a sense of what it is like to embed a strengths language into a school. I think schools are often also quite deficit-based. You know, what is wrong? Where are you struggling? How do we remediate the 3 R's that you're battling with? You know, your reading, your writing, your arithmetic, and the vision for the workshops is that staff would carry over a language of strengths into the classroom, into the children that they were working with. When I use the word strengths, very specifically, what I'm talking about are 24 character strengths that have been researched and scientifically investigated by the American Psychological Association. So character strengths represents who we intrinsically are, what we bring to any situation. They're not our talents, not what we're good at. They're not our skills as to what we can do well. It's who we fundamentally are. And I think if we lived in a society where at home, at school, in the workplace, you could name your strengths, you were accountable to them, you knew your signature strengths, because we all have different strengths, obviously. We might have all 24, but we use them in different ways and to different degrees. When Lynette and I first met, we were very conscious of the fact that Partners for Possibility like you to go through, I suppose how I would term it, is a process of not knowing. They don't want the partners to be prescriptive and to go in with a set agenda and this is what I can do to the school. They wanted to evolve and for the partner to really hear, understand, work at identifying what the school needs. So Lynette and I were very cognizant of that, and although in the first half hour we had both started talking about strengths work in particular, I think we held back. Lynette is so unbelievably good at thinking through her decisions. That's one of her strengths, judgment. She weighs everything up from all perspectives. I'm quite prudent, so we let it go. We just went with the flow for quite a long time. Partners for Possibility put in all kinds of supports. They put in workshops, they put in the circles where the principals and partners in groups of 8 meet regularly. So we had that sort of support. And again, I think we were so lucky because other people were still feeling their way, but Lynette and I both had the same kind of vision in mind. We just didn't want to commit to it too early. And Lynette wanted to make very sure that it would be right for her staff. She's very definite about what's right for her school. Thank goodness. So, yes, we'd met. I think each of us had a vision that we had to get to the point of realizing that it was a shared vision, that we were in sync with that. The processes that Partners for Possibility put in place helped with that. But I think we quite quickly got to a point where we, within 2 months, we'd set up dates to start our training. And it all evolved from there. I think being introduced to Lynette at St. James Primary was complete serendipity. I think partly because Lynette was quite adamant about what she wanted. Lynette's very definite about what works well for her school and what she needs. she had that sorted. I think she liked the fact that I came in with certain psychological skills and we were on the same wavelength. I think for Lynette and I, the initial conversation had planted the seeds in the first half an hour of meeting. And we consolidated that quite quickly. I think within 2 months we had agreed on the kind of training we'd do for staff. Lynette wanted some kind of training and staff development that would build on staff strengths. And I had this beautiful work that had been done, that was being developed in the States and in the UK and in Australia, and they were bringing it into schools, and I had done the courses through the States, and I was so excited. There was this wonderful opportunity to see how it would work in schools that had very limited resources, that were really the resources were the enthusiasm and integrity of the staff. So we decided on the staff training very quickly, and I think within 3 months, 2 to 3 months, we're running our first workshops with the staff. I think for me what has been incredible was that I always wondered if it was possible to put in a whole school program with no resources, with no backing, doing it on a part-time basis. And I wasn't sure if this beautiful theory I had in my mind was translatable into action. I didn't know that. And I cannot put into words, I suppose, how grateful I am. I'm going to get tearful about this, always do, but how grateful I am that I found this little school that shared this dream, this possibility, Partners for Possibility. It was a possibility, a vague possibility that it could work and it could influence, especially children's lives, for the better. And I think to see a school where everybody across the school, from the person who drives the bus to the lady who does the lunches in the classroom to the vice principal to the principal's children,